When a narcissist realizes you refuse to be controlled, something shifts. The mask drops, the charm evaporates, and what emerges is not just anger. It is something far more calculated, far more dangerous, and far more terrifying than you ever imagined. Carl Jung spent decades documenting this exact moment. He called it the psychological death spiral, and what he discovered will change how you see every narcissist in your life forever. Jung understood that when you finally say no, when you finally establish boundaries, when you finally refuse to play their game, the narcissist does not simply get upset. They experience what Jung described as a collapse of their God image. You become the mirror that no longer reflects their perfection, and mirrors that tell uncomfortable truths must be destroyed. But here is the part that terrified Jung the most. The narcissist's response is not random chaos. It is a predictable, methodical, psychological warfare designed to annihilate your sense of reality itself. Why does their mask fall exactly when you stop feeding their need for control? Because you have triggered something Jung called the narcissistic injury, and the injury demands retaliation. Jung treated a patient in 1920 who would forever change his understanding of this pattern. The patient was a successful businessman, charming to everyone around him, respected in his community. But behind closed doors, he ruled his family with psychological terror, disguised as love. His wife had finally gathered the courage to challenge one of his decisions. Not with aggression, not with drama. She simply said no. What happened next shocked even Jung. The man did not yell, he did not threaten. Instead, he became eerily calm. Over the following weeks, he systematically turned their children against her. He convinced her family she was having a breakdown. He told their friends she had become unstable and needed help. Within 3 months, this woman who had simply said no found herself completely isolated, doubting her own sanity, wondering if perhaps she was the problem after all. Jung realized he was not witnessing a mental illness. He was observing a sophisticated psychological mechanism. When the narcissist loses control, they do not collapse. They calculate, they strategize, and they do something Jung described as unthinkable. They rewrite reality itself. Let me explain what Jung discovered about the narcissist's internal world. For the narcissist, control is not about power, it is about existence itself. Jung understood that narcissists construct what he called a false self, a grandiose image they present to the world. But this false self requires constant validation. It needs what Jung termed psychological fuel. And that fuel comes from the people they control. When you submit to their demands, when you adjust your behavior to accommodate their moods, when you walk on eggshells to avoid their anger, you are providing that fuel. You are confirming their internal narrative that they are special, superior, deserving of this control. Your compliance is not just convenient for them. It is essential to their psychological survival. Now, imagine what happens when you stop, when you refuse to be controlled. In that moment, you are not just setting a boundary, you are threatening the narcissist's entire sense of self. Jung called this the collapse of the God image. The narcissist has constructed an internal world where they are the center, where everyone exists to serve. Their needs, where their perception is the only reality that matters. Your refusal shatters that world. But here is what makes this so dangerous. The narcissist cannot accept that their perception is flawed. They cannot integrate the reality that they are not superior, not special, not entitled to control. So their unconscious mind does something terrifying. It projects. It takes every quality they cannot accept in themselves and attributes it to you. If they are manipulative, they will convince the world you are the manipulator. If they are abusive, they will position themselves as your victim. If they are cruel, they will paint you as the villain. Jung called this shadow projection, and it is the narcissist's most devastating weapon. Jung documented this pattern across dozens of cases. The moment the narcissist loses control, they begin what modern psychology calls a smear campaign. But Jung understood it was more than gossip or revenge. It was an unconscious attempt to restore their shattered self-image by destroying yours. They are not consciously choosing to lie about you. Their psyche has actually rewritten the narrative to make themselves the victim and you the aggressor. This is why you cannot reason with them. This is why evidence does not matter.